Who the hell am I? What's up everybody, Tanvir Ahmed here. Welcome back to another video, and this is the ultimate guide to personal values. Achieving success in life is not nearly as important as your definition of success. If your definition of success is horrific, then working harder, setting and achieving goals, and disciplining your mind all becomes a bad thing. You cannot talk about self-improvement without also defining your values that accompany it. Your values are extensions of yourself. They are what define you. Many state the values they wish they had in order to cover up the values they actually have. Instead of facing who they really are, they lose themselves in who they wish they could become. Values are the fundamental component of our psychological makeup and our identity. We are defined by what we choose to find important in our lives. We are defined by our prioritizations. If money, for example, matters more than anything, then that will come to define who we are. But some personal values are better than others. Good values are evidence-based, constructive, and controllable. Bad values are emotion-based, destructive, and uncontrollable. At any point, you are making a decision of how to spend your time, of what you direct your energy to. You are constantly evaluating which activity has more value to you and acting on it. Our values are constantly reflected in the way we behave, and analyzing our actions is a good diagnosis tool, as we all have things we like to think we value but don't actually back it up with action. Many believe themselves to have desirable values to mask their actual values, effectively turning aspirations into a form of avoidance as they ignore reality in favor of a fantasy. Our values are extensions of ourselves. They define us. A disconnect between our actions and emotions may make us delusional about ourselves and the world. Self-loathers feel that they are morally inferior and that they should suffer in order to compensate for their own wretchedness. Alternately, those who love themselves avoid harming themselves and get satisfaction from taking care of themselves. This love for self is crucially important, but in isolation, it isn't enough and makes us self-absorbed. We all need to value ourselves, but also something above ourselves if we are to have purpose. Your identity is composed of the sum of everything you value. Those who claim a need to find themselves are simply reassessing their values and seeking a new identity. This need often comes from those under such high pressure that they feel a loss of purpose and of control over their life. By getting away from the pressures they face, they are able to recover a sense of control over the issues, gain perspective on them, and question their decisions and priorities. That eventually leads to change that they may then carry back to their everyday life. Research shows that most of us often decide and act based on our feelings instead of information. It also shows us that our feelings are generally self-centered, overly focused on short-term gains, and often warped or delusional. Overly depending on our emotions to define our values is unreliable, unfulfilling, and sometimes even damaging. To prevent that, it's enough to find a purpose that matters more than our feelings, something worth occasionally getting hurt for. We don't want to value things that harm ourselves or others, but we do want to value things that enhance ourselves and others. Most things are not clearly constructive or destructive. They need to be evaluated in context. What you value is often not as important as why you value it. And you must keep it in mind in order to prevent yourself from unintentionally adopting destructive values. When you value things that are outside your control, you essentially give up your life to that thing. If you live for the sake of something outside your control and you lose it, you will lose your perceived purpose for living as well. So you need values that you can control Otherwise, your values will control you. So how do you reinvent yourself? We must have the self-awareness to recognize that our values have failed. Losing a value feels as though we're losing a part of ourselves. We resist that failure. We explain it away and deny it. Question the value and brainstorm what values could do a better job. Replacing low-level material values with higher-level abstract values will yield better problems and give you more control over your life. For example, if making money is a primary value, then you'll always seek it. But if personal freedom is a primary value, then the value of money reduces as you accumulate it. Live the new value. New values have to be lived and experienced to stick. Determination is necessary to face our natural resistance to change and to live a life that is contrary to our old beliefs. Reap the benefits of the new value. It feels good to put the effort into living new values. As the issues from inadequate values cease to affect you, and you start to understand yourself better, it gets easier to continue living the new value. You will be left with a wonderful sense of relief and a newer, deeper understanding of who you really are. That's it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you liked it. Hit that like button if you did. Subscribe or subscribe, whichever you prefer if you haven't already. Hit that bell if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next one.